Good morning, class. Myself, Mrs. Monica Parit. Welcome to Science class, Standard 7, Chapter number 3rd Properties of Natural Resources. From that, we are dealing with the air properties. Yesterday, we saw this example that a glass containing an ice cube, and we later found the water droplets are collected outside the glass. Okay, and how they have collected, what's the reason behind that? Because of condensation. What is meant by condensation? This outside air, surrounded air of that glass will temperature is goes on reducing due to the ice cube, and the water droplets present into the air will convert it to the water droplets. It's the procedure of condensation, that is water vapors are cooled down and forms the droplets is the condensation process. Also we have saw that there is a one more factor related with this is humidity. So what we have seen in humidity, what's it mean that word humidity? A moisture in air in the form of water vapor. So the level of humidity is different at different places. It cannot be same as that of our air pressure. Similarly, the humidity level also changes from the time to time during the period of a single day. Means in a single day, the humidity level will change. That is, at a afternoon time it will be high, at a night and in morning it will be low. The level of humidity of air will be determined by its capacity to hold water vapor. Okay, and during the night or a down means the time of sunrise. When the temperature of air will be low, its capacity to hold water vapor will be less. At such a time, the excess water vapor will be transferred into the water droplets, and this we call as dew. So we can say that whenever there will be a cold temperature, there will be a less humid environment because they are unable to hold the water vapor and they converts to the water droplets. Means uh, at a night time or a downtime, what's the temperature of air? It will be a low, so the capacity to hold water vapor will be less. Now we will talk about the daytime or the afternoon time. In the afternoon, when the temperature of air will be high, of course at afternoon temperature of air will be high because the sun is exactly overhead. So the capacity of air to hold moisture will increase. They will hold the more moisture, and as they will hold more moisture means there will be a less hope for the forming the water droplets or forming the dewdrops. That's why we usually found the water droplets or the dews are formed in the early morning when there is a cold environment, not at the time of afternoon. Then compared to the its full capacity to hold water, the proportion of moisture in the air is less and we feel the air is dry. Now see, the proportion of water vapor in the air is high during the monsoon. Okay, it will be high, that's why we feel the moist air around us. The proportion to hold the water vapor in the air is high during the monsoon and near the coastal area. In coastal area, we always found like a steam like feeling we are getting that because there is a high capacity to hold water vapor is high. As the result, we feel dampness and humid environment over there. Now, whatever we have learned this concept, the humidity, the level of humidity, when it change, how it change, from that we have some questions. See, in summer, wet clothes dry quickly, but in rain seasons they do not. Why this is so? Is the question on your page number 18. Now, see, is it the true statement or not? You tell me. First, that during the daytime, during the summer, our clothes will dry quickly, but in rainy season they do not. So, what will be the reason of it? That we are going to discuss now. See, the air during the rain season is humid. Just now we have discussed it's humid during the rainy season. The air contains much moisture during this period. Already the air contains the moisture into it. The wet cloths dry. When it will dry? When the moisture in the cloth evaporates into the atmosphere. So how your clothes are drying procedure is when the moisture into it or the wetness of it, or the, you can say even the water droplets of it, water vapors of it, when unless and until it gets evaporate, we are unable to miss the clothes will not get dry. And where it will evaporate? Into the environment. It will mixed into the environment. But in case of a rainy season, already the air is humid, it contains the much more moisture into it, it not be possible. But due to the excessive moisture in the air during the rainy season, moisture from the wet cloth is not lost, so it will remain into that cloth. Whereas in the summer season it will evaporate and it will mix with the environment or the atmosphere, we can say. Therefore the cloths do not dry up soon. On the other hand, during the summer season the temperature is very high, it's less humid, and the cloths therefore dry quickly into the summer. Next we are going to learn now properties of water. Before we start with the properties of water, we have some two activities which you have to perform into home, and send the picture of it to me personally on my personal WhatsApp. No need to send it in a group. See what activity we have to do. Dip a uncorked inverted empty bottle in a slanting position into the water in a wide container. What do you observe? Now see, uncorked means which will not have the lid of it. A cap should not be there. Okay, and better you take a plastic bottle or a glass bottle, so you will see the and the transparent one, so you will see the changes into it. And bottle in a slanting position. What's mean by slanting position? Inclined position, not in a straight position. Or first we will go with the straight position and we goes on the changing the position. I have shown you the video in the first lecture itself what happened with this case, that when we have kept the bottle inverted on the container, we can say there is a that bottle is empty, but actually does the bottle is empty? It does not contain anything. Yes, it contains the air. It's not empty, it contains the air. Now when we place the bottle in inverted manner, that air get trapped inside the bottle. See, from the downside we are giving the pressure of the water, to water is tried to coming into the bottle. But what about the air which is present in the bottle already? As two things cannot sacrifice over there, no, both the things cannot be fit into one. So if the air gets removed, then only it is possible to the water to enter into it. So what's the solution? You will try it once by the inverted bottle and apply more pressure to it. Try it again by applying more pressure. Doesn't matter how much pressure you will apply, the bottle will not go down and it will not get filled with water. What's the solution for this is, we will little bit make the bottle tilted. Now as we make the bottle tilted, we found that some water enters into the bottle and we are able to see the bubbles coming out from that water container. So what that bubbles are? That bubbles are equal to the amount of water which is entered into the bottle of it. See the bubbles we are able to see? That bubbles will be equal to the amount of water entered into the bottle. As much as you will remove the air from it, that much water you are allowing to enter into the bottle of it. Okay. In this manner, what we can infer, one more activity we will take, and then we will take the properties. We will enlist the properties of it. Now see what change take place in the balloon on filling air into it. Now we have seen this already. When there is a balloon which is inflated and uninflated, we have seen the difference with the first diagram. From that what we have discussed, that we come to know from this activity that air has a property like occupying the space, having a certain volume. It occupies the space, right? In the bottle we are able to identify the presence of the air into that bottle, and it having certain volume. From which activity we have this in this, it having certain volume and mass and weight in a case of that balloon activity. Okay, this is the property of air, that it will occupy the space, it having a certain volume, and it having the mass and weight. Now we will see one more concept related to air is scattering of light. Okay, now what is meant by scattering? Before that we will discuss what are the constitution of air. Air is a mixture of fine particles of some gases. Fine particles of some gases, dust, smoke and moisture. These are the constituents. Constituents means the part of water. When rays of light will fall on these minute particles, the particles spread. When the rays of light fall on these minute particles, the particle spreads the light in all directions. This natural phenomena is called as scattering of light. For this particular chapter only, you just remember there is a mixture of fine particles. Which are that fine particles? Like a gases, dust, smoke, moisture. They are very minute. We are unable to see them unless and until we use the microscope. Okay, they are very minute. Though still they are very minute, when the light rays fall onto that, the sound rays when fall onto that, it will get scattered. Scatter means that light will spread on all direction, and that is spreading in all direction by colliding on this. No, this phenomena is called as scattering of light. This scattering of light we are going to discuss in the next terms chapter in detail. That's it for today. Tomorrow we are going to see the temperature regulations, transmission of sound and properties of water. Thank you. Students are requested to write the properties of air, enlist the properties of air in their classwork notebook, science classwork notebook.